Hi, hello, I hope you can all hear me properly. I'm Anne Mullen, I'm a GP in the NHS. I've been a GP for many decades, or a few decades at least. Thank you for allowing me to speak at this fantastic event. I'm giving a wee shout out to my NHS for Yes group, which we formed in 2014, just before the first independence vote, and whilst that outcome of that vote wasn't what we hoped for, then we've kept going as a group. And I'd urge you to join us because ultimately the argument for keeping the NHS in public hands has become even more pressing today. Yeah. And a little bit of history. The blueprint for the NHS originated in Scotland. Yeah. Originally modelled on the Highlands and Islands Medical Service, which was established in Scotland in 1913 to address the challenges of delivering health care there. The separate Scottish NHS Bill was ready early in 1946, but was delayed to avoid problems with the launch of the 1948 NHS Bill in England and Wales, but Scotland has always had its own NHS. The four pillars of the NHS are public funding, public ownership, public provision, and accessible universal care free at the point of delivery. These are the founding principles of the NHS. These are worth fighting for. The health service should be best when it's needed most. If it's resourced adequately with time, costed into equation, the health service can achieve great things. The NHS across the UK has been struggling, however, to address unmet need, and this is pre-COVID. All these issues have just been accumulating over time. Because of sustained disinvestment via a 10-year budget squeeze, lack of capacity of hospitals with bed cuts, we've got an ageing population, and I'll soon be part of that ageing population. Major staff shortages, we have 100,000 shortages of staff across the UK, and Brexit compounds this because we have 5% of the staff in the NHS are from the EU, and that doesn't sound a lot, but when you think they are extremely highly trained professionals, it's a huge loss to the NHS. And we have inadequate provision of social care, so perhaps the time has come to bring social care under the umbrella of the NHS in Scotland and nationalise the care home sector. There is an ambitious programme of recovery for the NHS of Scotland following the challenges of the pandemic, which isn't over yet, and so do please still follow public health guidance. The key themes of the NHS in Scotland is health of the nation, delivering personalised care, reducing health inequalities, which I feel very passionately about, sustainability of our workforce, green and sustainable health care. As a GP, I would support extra resource for community health provision. The primary care team, which also includes health visitors, district nurses, community pharmacy, midwives, CPNs, physios, and other excellent workers, is based in the community but not in hospital or acute settings. 90% of healthcare contact takes place in the community. Therefore, any resource to reduce unmet need, control rising demand and close the health inequity gap must be focused here. The end of healthy living expectancy is as much as 2 decades when you compare affluent communities to communities with low socioeconomic status and income, and that is true across the UK. You may all have heard of the Glasgow effect, where people die much earlier in economically poorer communities, and we also have the effect of rural poverty in Scotland with poor health outcomes. The health service cannot solve all these issues in isolation, because we know that the social causes of illness are just as important as the physical ones. I'm now going to talk about a wellbeing economy which is highly relevant to the NHS and health outcomes. We need our political system to support the social infrastructure that ensures individual and community resilience, affordable housing, green spaces, adequately paid employment, universal health care, robust social support. In Scotland, we have free prescriptions, which cost £9.35 per item south of the border, free eye checks, which I believe are over £21 south of the border, the baby box, the Scottish Child Payment, a very welcome new benefit, £20 a week per child, 100,000 affordable homes, funded early learning and childcare. These are all great examples of aspirational political choices for the benefit of individual and society. And I want to remind you of the comments of Philip Austin, the UN Special Rapporteur on Extreme Poverty, during a visit to the UK in November 2019, the UK being the 5th largest economy in the world. 14 million people live in poverty, that's 1 in 5 people. 4.5 million children live before the poverty line, that's 1 in 3 children. 1.5 million are destitute and cannot afford housing, food, basic essential items. There are rising numbers of homeless, and the strongest indicator of homelessness in adulthood is living in childhood poverty. 5 million people were using food banks at that point, which is even more stark now because 14.5 million across the UK live in poverty and rely on food banks for survival. Does that sound like the foundation of a well-being economy? Or the actions of a government, and I'm specifically talking about the UK government now, that is working for the majority of its citizens? Most people are poorer today than they were in 2010 when the Conservative government first came to power, and it'll get worse with the living cost of living crisis. Is that something that's acceptable to us in the 21st century when there are other models of government that demonstrate what can be achieved when a humane political system evolves that makes choices for the benefit of the common good? But here we are. Taxpayer money is hemorrhaging out the system across the UK with a poor return on investment. Over the last 10 years, £96 billion of taxpayer money has gone to private healthcare companies, money that social contract a gift economy. Support the 4 pillars of the NHS. Be as informed as possible about the aims of the NHS in Scotland. Do not be passive recipients of this precious resource, but active participants in the delivery of healthcare. Do you want to gift Scotland's NHS to the next generation or have it stolen from them? That is the choice we must make now. Think carefully, choose wisely, Scotland, and onwards to independence. Yeah!
Thanks very much, Anne. That was a very, very useful speech and passionate speech. The next person we've got up is Martin Day, SNP Mp. Martin.